Okay, so next is there is another problem that we can solve it. Yeah. Pass by value. So what does it mean? So in Python, all data are objects. A variable for an object is actually a reference to the object. So when you invoke a function with a parameter, the reference value of the argument is passed to the parameter. This is referred to pass by value. For simplicity, we say that the value of an argument is passed to a parameter when invoking a function. So precisely the value is actually a reference to that object. Now let's see the increment.py. We have main function. And we call this main function. We have the value of x equals to 1. And then print before the call. X is what is the value. And then I will do the increment. So the increment will go to this function. And then we have a value n plus equal to 1. What does it mean? This is because we already have x here. X is 1. And then we put the value to this n. So n will be added by 1. So inside the function, n equals to this is 2. But after we finish with this function, we will return back to here. So I want to know what is x? Is it 1 or 2? Okay, one more time. I call the main function, and the main function starts with x equals to 1. So before the call, of course, x is 1. After I call the function increment, okay, we go here, x is 1, then n equals to 1. So n plus 1, it becomes 2. Now it will print 2. After we print 2, then we will go back here. After the call, x is 1 or 2? 2, 1. So the x still 1. So what does it mean by this? Okay. This is what I mentioned before. It is passed by value. So the value is passed to another function, but it will not affect the object value. So if the argument is a number or string, the argument is not effective, regardless of the changes made to the parameter inside the function. So it means we want to change this n, but it affects only in this function. And what about the x? The x is only in this function and does not affect too much. Functions can be used to reduce redundant coding and enable code reuse. You already see if we have functions like find maximum or do the summation. So we can reuse it. Functions can also be used to modularize code and improve the quality of the program. So here I give you like three kind of code. Okay, let's see. GCD function. So do you know GCD? GCD stands for the greatest common divisor. So we want to find what is the highest, the greatest common divisor between two values. Okay, for example, I have two values, 4 and 6. So in order to find the GCD, we need to find the maximum or the greatest common divisor. 4 can be divided by 1 and 6 can be divided by 1. Okay. Then 1 is the common divisor. So is there any numbers greater than 1 for the divisor? For example, 2. Can 4 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2? Yes. So this is the common divisor for 4 and 6. The starting number will be 1 and k equals to 2. So it is the possible GCD. If k is less than n1 and k is less than n2, so we will check whether n1 can be divided by k and n2 can be divided by k. If both of them are divisible, okay, so it can be divided by k and it can be divided by k, then the GCD equals to k. And then if it is not true, k will be added by 1 until k equals to n1 or k equals to n2. So if I have 4 and 6, okay, so this value will start from 2. It will start from 2 and then it will check next number which is 3 and then check with next number which is 4. Okay. If 4 is less than equal to n1, yes. 4 less than equal to n2, yes. So we keep continuing. If until 5, 5 is less than equal to n1, no. Then we stop and checking 2 and 3 and 4 for the divisor of 4 and 6. Now we can see I give another code which is test GCD function. We have test GCD function. I would like to import. What does it mean by import? So this is the code that we have in this GCD function. So this is the file name. The file name is GCD function. In this file name, there is one method which is GCD. So I would like to import GCD. So this is to import the module and the function. Now I have n1 and n2. So n1 is the first integer and let n2 be the second integer. So I want to know the greatest common divisor for n1 and n2 is, I call the GCD function. So where is this GCD function? Okay, you can press Control in your keyboard. When you press Control in your keyboard, you can go to this function. So PyCharm gives you very good function for this kind of message. So this is in the GCD function.py. It means these two files are connected to each other. So the test GCD function is connected to the GCD function.py. Now I would like to run this code. Enter the first integer. Let's say I enter 8. Okay. And enter the second integer. Let's say I enter 24. So the greatest common divisor for 8 and 24 is 8. What about if I enter again 16 and 24? The greatest common divisor for 16 and 24 is 8. Okay. Let's look at the example prime number function. Okay. Previously, we can do the prime numbers, but for this section, let's use function. How to create function for the prime number. So the idea is still the same. We have the function name. So it creates the function name is prime. And then the second function name is print prime numbers. And the last function is main. So when I call the main, I would like to print this one. The first 50 prime numbers are something. To print prime numbers, I will give 50 for the numbers that I want to see. So number 50, it is the number of primes that will be shown. So yeah, this one is the example from previous one. We set 50. We set only a number 50. This is static. But if you use this one, then it depends on, for example, the user input. So the idea for this is the same. Okay. When you want to get the prime numbers, yeah, you want to check whether the number of the prime numbers already equals to the condition, because I want to print 50, so whether the count already 50 or not. And then I would like to check if is prime number. What is it? This is a function. So is it possible to use a function as the if condition? Yes. So I use this one is prime, and I use it as a function, and it will return. Okay, so the return will be true or false. Because the return will be true or false, then we can use it as the condition in the if. So what is this function? We start the division as 2. So if the divisor is less than equal to the number divided by 2, let's do this one. So the number remainder divisor equals 0. So if this is true, then it is not a prime. Because we know that the prime is a number that can be divided by 1 and its own number. So we know if it is false, then it will give this one false. If this true, then it will give this one true. If the condition is true, then we will do the count plus 1. So number will be printed, and then we want to check how many numbers in the line. If the line contains already 10 numbers, then let's print. So this print means we go to the next line. So the number will be added by 1, and then we will check again based on this condition. If you run this, the result is the same with the previous prime numbers from the previous section. Now there is another problem that we can solve with function. We want to convert decimals to hexadecimal. What does it mean? So this is the problem statement. We will check the quotient, and then we will check the remainder. So every value will be checked by the quotient and the remainder. The quotient, what is quotient? Suppose we have 123 and I want to convert this one to the hexadecimals. So this is decimals. The decimals means any number. And I want to change this to hexadecimals by looking at the first quotient. Hexadecimals means we have 16 points or 16 numbers. So 123 divided by 16. So we have 7 and the remainder is 11. Then what is 7? The 7 quotient means the 7 quotient, just it is a 7 because we cannot divide again with 16. And the remainder, in the remainder, we will have this as B. Because in the hexadecimal, we have 16, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we start with A, B, C, D, E, F. So this is the meaning by hexadecimal. Then if it is 11, if the remainder is 11, so we will check the number 11 from the first. So the number 11 is P. That's why we will get the value is 7, which is from the quotient, and then we will get P from the remainder. So this is a function of decimal to hexadecimal. You can look at the problem here. So there's a function decimal to hex. Decimal to hex means I would like to divide the decimal value with 16 and get the hex values based on the remaining value. So the remaining value of the hex will be from the hex character plus the hex itself. So as I mentioned to you, actually I think we start from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is the hex value. This is the character, first character, second character, third character, fourth character, and so on until F at the end. And then we will do the division. Decimal value slash 16. This is division. In order to get the character, if it is between 0 until 9, then the character value will be in between 0 until 9. So 0 until 9, it is just a character of digit. But if not in this range, so it means it is higher than 10, or it is between 10 until 15, then it is a character. And the character is from this number. So do you know what is CHR? Well, let's see. So if I want to print a character which is the order of 0, then it will get 0. This is the character of 0. If I want to have 1 plus character 0, sorry, this should be string. So it is already in the string. So when I do with the character 1, and this is another character, this is 0. So if I add this one, sorry, I want to know what is the character 1 plus 0. So the result will be 1 because I would like to know what is the next after 0. If I have 10 after 0, it will be 1. If I have 15 after 0, it will be question mark. So how can we get this one? Actually, this one is from the ASCII code. I think I mentioned to you before. So this is the ASCII code. So you can see based on this 0, the character 0 have the value 30 and the decimal is 48. So the next value of 1 is 1 The next value of the 1 is 2. The next value of the 2 is 3. The next value of the 4 is 3 is 4, and so on. And you can see the next line value is column. And then the next 15 value is question mark. So this is from this ASCII table. So the ASCII table is the American Standard. This is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So for every programming language, we'll use this ASCII chart or ASCII code to represent each of the symbol. So let me return back to this function. So you can see if it is between 0 until 9, so we will just print the value, which is what is the current value plus the index from 0. If it is higher than 10, okay, so we are going to use the 8. What is 8? A is a character. So like, as I mentioned to you, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then next we'll start with A, B, C, D, E, F. So this represents how to get the next value from A. And then what is the next by minus 10? So if it is 10, then 10 minus 10 is 0 plus 8. Then the index in the 10 is 8. What about if it is 11? So 11 minus 10, it is 1. 1 plus the index of 8. Then 1 after 8 is B. And so on. You want to just call the function. First, we want to get the input from the user. And I would like to print the decimal to hex. The decimal to hex means this one. And this decimal to hex connect with the function to hex character to show what is the character for this value. In the Python or in also in other programming language, we need to understand the scope of the variables. What does it mean by scope? Scope is the part of the program where the variable can be referenced. So the variable can be referred to local variable, and the local variable can only be accessed inside a function. The scope of local variables starts from its creation and continues to the end of the function that contains the variable. Okay, so let's see what does it mean by this one. In Python, you can also use the global variables. They are created outside all the functions and are accessible to all functions in their scope. So what does it mean? See. Is it possible to run this code? Let's look at the code. Global variable 1. We have def means function. So this is a function with name f1. So the local variable is 2. Print global variable. What is the result? This is 1. print local variable. What is the result? This is 2. Okay, we call the function f1. Now we want to print the global variable. The global variable is 1. Here we want to print the local variable. Is it possible? Because the local variable is located in the function f1, and we never declare this one outside the function. Then we cannot show the result. We cannot show the value of the local variable. Let me check this one. So you can see it is immediately error. So Python cannot recognize what is local var. Even though you already declare it, but you declare it inside a function. So if it is only inside the function, the scope is only in the function. But the global variable you already declare outside, and it can solve the problem. So in order to solve it, then you need to do this one. Okay. Now we have x1, and then I have our function f1. So x2 is x equals to 2. So I want to print x. I call the function, of course, it will show x value. But what is this x? Is it 2 or 1? 2? So if I run this, it shows 1. Because when we call the function f1, x equal to 2, so it displays 2. And when we finish executing this, outside of this function, we do not know whether x already changed or not. So outside the function, they only know that x is 1. So it does not affect the changes. Now let's see about this. X is an input. And then I would like to check if x is higher than 0. If x is higher than 0, then let's make y equals to 4. And then print y. If you see this one, you can try to run. Enter a number, 5. So now you can see why. Because this new Python, they manage any variable. If it is not in the function, you can have the initial value as 0. So you can see this one. The y can be undefined. So the new version of Python can recognize that this value is 4. Now I have this one. For sum equals to 0, for I in range 0 until 5. So I would like to do the summation. Can I print I? Can I print I in this indentation? So it shows 4. Why? I start from 0. So it is a loop from the Python, and I start from 0, and then it goes to 1, 2, 3, and the last of I is 4. That's why when I print I, the number that will be printed is the last number. Now let's look at another example. So I have x1, and then I have increase. It is a function, and without parameter. And okay, let's make global x. What is global x? We will check later. So x will be added by 1. And I want to print x. Of course, in this case, the result is 2. When I call the function, yeah, we will run this one. And then print x. What is the result? The result is 2. Okay. What is the difference this code with the previous example? What is the difference with this one? In this case, we do not create local variable as global. Okay. And I think in this case, sorry. So in this case, we don't create the x as global variable. That's why the value still remaining the same as the original or the initial value. But for this example, we create the x as global. It means we want other section, or we want other parts to get the value of x the same as what we did in this function. So we have the global in this case. Now we would like to learn about the default argument. What is the meaning by default argument? So Python allows you to define function with default argument values. The default argument are passed to the parameters when a function is invoked without the arguments. Let's go to the default argument demo. Let's say I want to print the area. and I have two arguments, width and height. The width equals to 1 and the height equals to 2. The area will be width multiplied by height, and I will print what is the width, what is the height, and what is the area. Now, if I print the area, then okay, you can look one by one. If I print the area without any values of the parameters, then it will show the default value, which is 1 and which is 2. So the print area blank like this. So the width will be 1 and height will be 2. What about the second one? The second one, we want to print with one argument, which is 4 and 2,5 in the second argument. Then we know that based on this sequence, 4 will go to the variable width and 2.5 will go to the variable height. So we replace the default value with the value given in this argument. We replace this value with the value given from the argument. I also mentioned to you, we can use the name of the variable. For example, height. So I put height here equals to 5 and width. I put width equals to 3. So we can assign the value like this one. Or I can also use one variable only. For example, I want to use the width equals to 1.2, but the height, just make it default. I want the height equals to 6.2, but for the width, let's just use default. Okay. So this is the examples. If we put the value 4 and 2.5, the result is 4 and 2.5. If we put the height equals to 5 and width equals to 3, so the width equals to 3, height equals to 5, and the area is 50. If we put width equals to 1.2, the height will be the same as the default value. If we have the height is 6.2, height is 6.2, so the width will be default value. Okay, so that's the meaning by the default. Okay, so that's the meaning by the default arguments. We can have the returning multiple values. So in the returning multiple values, we have several values that we want to return. Let's see from the multiple return value demo. Let's suppose I have a function to sort between two numbers, number 1 and number 2. So if number 1 less than number 2, return number 1, comma number 2. If not, then return number 2, comma number 1. Okay. Now, this return means I would like to return back the value. And there are two values. If you call this function, and if you want to get the result, you need to have two variables. So n1 will be the result for the first number, n2 will be the result of the second number, if we do this one. But if you do this one, the number 2 will be in n2, n1, and number 1 will be in n2. So n1 is 2 and n2 is 3. Okay, so this is the written with multiple values. Uh, I need more time to explain this random characters, so I will just stop here. Okay, we'll continue on Thursday. So